Well, hello everybody, it's Bug Eater 64. Getting ready to do a special flight here for one of my subscribers. Left a comment, Shotgun Shell 80, asked if there was any chance to get a video of the pre-flight switches for the C-130. And that's exactly what I'm going to do today. This is a special flight. So Shotgun Shell 80, this one's for you, Betty. Hope you enjoy it. So we're going to be going through the checklist basically in this aircraft, and to kind of show everybody, just what the startup procedure is, where these active switches are, because there's enough to have some real fun with this airplane. And this C-130 flies pretty good, and this is only going to be this is probably the second or third time I've ever flown this aircraft. So to be honest, I'm still learning it. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to do a flight, and we'll get started with that real quick. We'll get into the cockpit, set up the flight plan, and at that point, I'll show you what the checklist is, and we'll go through and I'll let out the secret of where I'm flying today. So let's get in the airplane and let's have some fun. See you inside. Good morning, Miami Executive in Florida. This is our C-130, and we're going to be getting inside here real quick and get things started. So let's get working on things. Take a look of our 3D cockpit in this aircraft. So, yeah, you can see there's a lot of buttons that don't work, but there's enough in there to make it fun and pretty much flyable for anybody. So that's what we're going to do. Just checking our views here. All right, so that's looking okay. Got our checklist. This is actually a checklist that comes with the aircraft.
Set.
Okay, we know the parking brake is set.
Avionics switch off.
And that's down at the lower right of this particular screen that we're looking at. Yeah. Okay, just taking a quick look, see if everything's okay. And our avionics switch is right there, so we're going to check it. On, off. Okay, so it's off.
Generator switch is off.
Those are up top. And right now they are all off.
Throttle idle.
Back down to the center console. And they're at idle.
Landing gear lever check down.
And it is down.
Flight idle gate lever off, down.
Yep.
Condition levers fuel cut off.
And they are all fuel cutoff position.
Fuel pump switches check off.
Back up top. And there's our fuel pump switch.
Flaps up.
Back to the center console. There's not much of a flow to this checklist. It bounces you back and forth.
Battery switch on.
All right, back top. Battery switch on. Okay, and let's go ahead and start the APU, even though the checklist does not call for it. it's spooling up.
Fuel quantity check.
Once again, up top.
Flight controls check.
So check the flight controls, rudder check, okay. Elevators, ailerons.
Avionics switch on. Transponder standby.
And that's actually up top. Well, up upper forward console. Okay. The APU generator on. And just like in a real airplane, if you're going to go through using the checklist, it's going to take extra time. So let's go ahead and set up our flight plan. We need to delete this old one, since we're way across the country on that. Okay, we're at KTMB, which is Miami Executive. And we're going to be heading down to the end of the Keys. Key West, Nassau. So, KNQX. So I'm going to be using the GPS.
Beacon on.
Okay. Come down here to our light switches.
Startup checklist.
Alright, so let's get to starting up these engines.
Engine and propeller area clear.
So we'll take a quick look outside, make sure the area around the airplane is clear.
Throttle idle.
Throttles are at idle.
Flight idle gate lever on. High. Fuel pump switches check on.
Okay, so back up to the top, turn on the fuel pump. And we can see our fuel gauge in the center there.
Engine start sequence 1 to 2, 3 to 4. Engine 1 start, push on and hold 5 seconds.
Okay, so fuel's turned on engine number 1. And there's the button, so we hold that. So engine number 1 is started. We'll take a look at our gauges.
Generator 1 switch on.
Okay, so generator is now on. When the light goes off, the generator's on. So everything's looking okay right there. We're going to go ahead and start engine number 2. So, that generator is on.
Generator 1 annunciator check extinguished. Engine 1 instruments check. Repeat for engines 2 to 3, 4.
Okay. Alright, so. And you notice I didn't do that for 2. You can do it either way. You can either press that switch and it'll put the mixture switch fuel on, or you can just hit the button up on top like I did for the second engine. But we'll start number 3. So engine number 3 is a good start. Let's turn on the generator. And engine number 4. Okay, so we got 4 good engine starts. And next step should be the inverter.
Switches on.
There you go.
Before taxi checklist. NAV lights on.
So put our navigation lights on.
Taxi lights on. Heading indicator set.
Okay, it looks like it's right now it's set up for where we're sitting. So we'll have to make an adjustment to that. There we go. Let's take a look here. Yeah. What I want to do, Key West. Just double check everything here. And that's our starting point. So we're going to activate that. It's 94 miles away. KNQX, Key West. Or the Keys, I'm sorry, not the Keys in Nassau. All right, so, and our heading's going to be 231 or 234, let's see. I think it's 234. Yeah. So, all right. So we got that set.
Altimeter set.
Altimeter is set.
Instruments normal operation.
And everything is looking as it should. Yeah, we're only going 94, 95 miles here. So I'm going to set this max altitude probably 5,500 feet, even if we even get that high. Yeah, 5,000 feet's good enough. Vertical speed about 800. That's fine. Heading 234. That's all looking good. Okay.
Radios and avionics checked and set. Autopilot set and off. Taxi checklist.
Alright, so we know how to taxi. And we are going to be taking off from 27 left. Alrighty. Okay, everything's looking good here. I'm using the Garmin instead of the FMS, so that's why I didn't do anything with it. Alright, so let's taxi out here to the hold short line for runway 27 left. And this is X-Plane 1150. There was a new version, X-Plane 1150 Beta 3, and I've loaded it up on one of my other drives, and I can't use it. It just keeps crashing to desktop. So, don't know what's going on there. So using my stable version 1150. Without any plugins, and it seems to be working fine. Okay, here we are to hold short line for 27 left, and we'll get ready to get back into the checklist.
Parking brake release. Taxi to assigned runway speed max 20. Brakes check during taxi. Directional gyro proper IND during turns. Turn coordinator proper IND during turns. Artificial horizon erect during turns. Before takeoff checklist.
Here we go.
Parking
That's the
brake
one we
set.
want.
Fuel quantity check. Throttle idle. Elevator trim set for takeoff.
Caution.
Alright, let's get this trim moved.
Flaps set 4 to 8 degrees. Flight controls free incorrect.
And we'll check our controls one more time, and they are free and good. So
Engine / flight instruments check.
flaps are in the correct takeoff position.
Radios and avionics set.
And we're not using ATC today, so
Landing lights on.
okay, so landing lights on, taxi lights off.
Taxi lights off.
Yep.
Strobe light on.
If you feel the need to use
Tail
it.
heat on. De-ice as required. Annunciator lights check.
Alright.
Takeoff checklist. Smoothly increase thrust to full.
We're not there yet. Let's get on the runway. Alright. Get up here, get lined up, set up our brakes. Alright. So now we'll get ready to run the engines up. That's it. Want that nose pushing down against those brakes. Release the brakes and we're off. We're looking for about 110, 120 for rotate. And these rudder pedals are extra sensitive in this plane. Don't have to look at that. So rotate. Gear coming up. Alright, so let's get going to the Florida Keys, and that's the procedures for getting this aircraft into the air. See you on the other side. Beautiful sunny day. And you can tell I'm flying by hand here. She's real easy to handle. it's fun. I enjoy it. And it's a short flight, so. So just keep adjusting our trim and see. Very light touch on my HOTAS. She flies quite well. I'm just playing with buttons, see, you know, what's going on, and having a nice leisurely flight here. And like you say, you can see I'm not in any real hurry. Our airspeed's only about 210, which is, you know, about half of what you can do here. Whoops. Yeah. Just hit the reverser. Oops. Yeah. My bad. Let's get things back going here. Alright. Ooh, that could have been ugly. That's what happens when you hit the wrong switch. And it'd probably fly better if I put the flaps up. Silly me. That's what happens when you don't use, when you're flying an aircraft you're not that familiar with, and you don't use the climb out and cruise checklist. Silly me. Okay, so you can plan everything on an FMS, or you can use the Garmin, whatever you prefer. Because some people really enjoy using the FMS. I prefer using the GTN 750, but unfortunately, that plug-in is not in this version of X-Plane 11 on my computer right now. Had a lot of issues with X-Plane lately. Not sure what happened. Okay, let's... We've got her trimmed up now. She's flying just fine. Make fine adjustments. Hand flying the aircraft, so no problem at all here. So let's get to the airport here. Okay, we are on our final approach here. Gear down. Flap stern landing configuration. Speed's looking good. Landing speed is usually about 130 knots. So. We're a little left of center of the runway, but we're okay, so no problems there. Okay, down safe. No problems with that landing. Reversers on. So, and we'll get the flaps up. Had a bit of an issue with the nose steering this time. So, it's got to be something I've done. Probably a switch I didn't turn off, so on. And again, not using the checklist. And not familiar enough with this airplane, so. We'll get up here and taxi to our left. Oh no, not a bad flight. And we're just gonna taxi straight ahead. All right, that's good enough for me. All right, everybody, we completed the flight. The landing wasn't my best ever, just had one little bounce. But in a C-130, that's not so bad. Did the flight, actually ended up doing most of the flight. It was only 97 miles, I think, 93 to 97 miles. But I hand flew it because, I forgot that in this airplane, in this simulated airplane, the autopilot is actually connected to the flight director. So that took some time to figure out. And by the time I did, we were getting ready to land this airplane. But I hope I know this video and this flight wasn't for everybody. It took, going through a checklist in the real world aircraft, it takes time. You're not going to rush through it. So, especially on an aircraft you're not that familiar with. So it took some time, a little more than normal. Normally I'd jump in the airplane, flip some switches, get the engine started, and get going. This time I didn't do that. And instead of using the FMS, I used the Garmin to set up the flight plan. So no real problems there. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful, especially Shotgun Shell 80. Hope this is helpful to you and you got to see it. It's a fun airplane to fly, easy to handle in the air, and it's just was a lot of fun. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all come back again when we do another one. And until then, this is Bug Eater 64. Hope you're all safe. And by golly, everybody, have a very Merry Christmas. And we'll see you soon. Goodbye for now.